ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दना पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रुतजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेटीयमानं मुदा भूया भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि नस्ये श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्।
Welcome to the 17th class, I think this. So, second module of teaching with Karma Yoga. Then Dhyana Yoga will also be there from today onwards and next class also. Then Jnanam and then benefits. So that is the second module. So we want to finish in 3 classes. This is already 4th class. So at this next class we should be able to finish this second round of teaching. And this one, self-knowledge as in Bhagavad Gita. So this teaching of self-knowledge is not that Guru is teaching and you are learning. So there is because I was listening to some of the lectures of Swami Tattvavidanandaji, one of the greatest scholars. So he was telling that if this is taught like other subject, physics, chemistry or anything else, which you are totally unaware before, teacher has to tell that is not at all relevant to you till teacher tells. So you learn that. Any this one law or any subject in physics, chemistry and everything. So that teaching is different from this teaching. So what is the main difference means that teaching you are unaware before that particular class and the teacher is teaching and you have to learn. By hearting may not be required. Once you understand, you will be able to keep it in mind and reproduce in the exam or in your work. That is normal materialistic subject teaching. This teaching is totally different. This means what? Vedanta teaching. This is, we are not, means the teacher is not teaching you something which you don't know previously. That is what the difference, major difference between teaching Vedanta and other things. Because you have been brought in the circumstances in the college and higher studies, the teacher is teaching you, you are learning. So that same thing you should not extend here. This is like, what is that? Swami Paramatmananda used to tell, ignorance or dectomy. Knowledge of therapy or something. Ignorance or dectomy is important. That is, you are aware of this Atma throughout your life, other than in coma and anesthesia. Then in sleep also we have said. So that much obvious thing, teacher tells you to examine your life. You only examine your life. Means your previous means years, the present living, and how the memory comes to you. Some memory comes, some memory does not come. So all these things you have to examine your life, especially using your mind. So that is the major difference between other teaching and this teaching. So for that, mind purification. So that is 100% required. Maybe 50%, 60%, 70%. Without that, you cannot get anything out of this teaching. Just an additional knowledge which will occupy your mind and which will be forgotten, and just like any other subject, it will go away. This is, you are learning about your own self. This is just like, and another important thing here. This is another benefit. It comes in the inside the slokas also. But once more I will tell. Any other thing, you will not get benefit if you know about that. If you know about any place, Rishikesh, you will not get the benefit of staying in Rishikesh. If you know about some new mobile phone, if you just know about the usage in the TV advertisement or anything like that, or the website, you will not get the benefit of having it. Anything, knowledge will not give to enjoy the benefit of having that. Knowledge will tell you about that, but this is different. This is, knowledge is the end. Why? Means we are telling about you only. So it is an example of a person. If I forget I am Jay Kumar due to some amnesia or dementia, whatever thing, or because of any kind of fainting and everything, shock therapy or any other therapy, what is the end? If I come to know I am Jay Kumar, that is the end of it. Then all things connected to me will come in the memory, because the basic memory has gone. So when the basic memory about myself has gone in the materialistic transactional reality, this is the name and form is transactional reality. So if I forget myself from the point of transactional reality, the psychiatry is there, psychology is there, short treatment is there, medicines are there. Or fainting means to something, sometimes they give 2 slaps. So suddenly they will remember. So these are the kinds. Once I remember that I am Jay Kumar, all things connected to my body, mind, intellect will automatically come back. Maybe in few hours. But here it is more than that. Vedanta teaching is more than that. That is why you have to examine your life. You have to examine your day-to-day affairs. You have to examine your thought. You have to examine your mind. That teacher guides you. So using the mind, you can, mind is like a ladder. That's also another thing I was listening. Mind is like a ladder. You can use the ladder to climb up. You can use the ladder to climb down also. Using mind, you can improve your life. You can abusing or misusing mind, you can make them life also means worse. So this is the advantage. So for that, mind cleaning is there. So that is, if at all, if you don't get benefit, again go back to eligibility and increase the qualifications. This is one thing. Examining the life, mind is required. Then one more very good point I got. See, here we tell living in the present. So living in the present. So this is also one more point I want to tell. There are past, present and future. One is chronological past, chronological present and chronological future. So today is 17th October 2020. So like that, the date wise, month wise, year wise, time wise, that's called chronology. So chronological past, you can use your experience of learning from the mistakes and or from the learning also. Almost it comes in a clear mind. In a stressful mind, it doesn't come, and then afterwards it comes and you repent. I should have done this, I should have told this, all these things. That's why in the free mind it will come. So that is chronological. And living in the present means, see, chronologically you can plan. This today's class also I started planning only yesterday because till the time I was having some other more priority one. So day first day I was remembering that was Saturday evening class we have to continue from the previous thing. So I took up this kind of chronological future. You have to make use sensible. That is what planning and proactiveness. The chronological, this one. Chronologically you can live in future and past, but not psychologically. You should not psychologically live in the past and getting hurts, guilts, and you should not live psychologically in future. Fear, anxiety about future, worry about the future. So psychologically not living in future and past is present living in the present. It is not chronological. Chronological, you can definitely make plans. And after that, Karma Yoga. Plan and do. Choice of action is only with you, not the result. And that way you can move on. Okay, this much is sufficient. And we will go to the sloga 23. 23 of 5th chapter. We left it.
Chapter 5, verse 23. The one who is able to master the force born of anger and desire here in this world before release from the body is a karma yogini. He or she indeed is a happy person. That's the translation.
See, the entire psychology of Bhagavad Gita, more than 3/4 is Raga Dvesha, the likes and dislikes, how to handle them. In each stage, in very beginning stage, that is positioning, then preparation, then Karma Yoga, and also it is in afterwards in this modules also it comes handling Raga and Dvesha, likes and dislikes. So here, see the likes and dislikes, the desires. Desires are one of the desires are one of a few of the things which motivates you. So here, the binding desire and non-binding desire already told. Once again tell. Binding desires is if you have got a legitimate desire, if you get fulfilled, you will thrill. get thrill, jump in joy. But if you get a disappointing result, you will get frustration. That kind of fluctuation should not be there. So, legitimate desires, you take actions and proceed. So here, when you are having desire, sometimes the desire will be fulfilled or unfulfilled. So unfulfilled desires will create anger within you. It will not be anger as if we explain in, or behave normally. It's an inner anger. So that is the normal way of behavior of the mind. Here, the desires and anger, instead of directly suppressing, the veha, the force, you can avoid or at least reduce once you learn Bhagavad Gita. And if you practice it, you will be prompted. You will be prompted a few nanoseconds before you get angry. And also when you discuss with your very close people and everything, or in unknown place also in road, hitting someone and everything, you will be prompted by this if you have this kind of knowledge. The veha, the force, that force you can definitely reduce or totally negate if you know this idea. Because if unexpected thing comes, or if people don't listen to you, or people do opposite to you, or suddenly the instinctual force will come. But unless otherwise you know this trick of handling the anger, you will be instinctively react and spoil the situation, then afterwards repenting, and you know what happens to a person in Krodha. So this sloka is telling to handle the udveha, that is the force behind the anger. So then you will be able to means proceed in mastering the mind. So 23rd sloka is we will be giving the details in due course. They are working on that. I think that you can go through the detail. Otherwise, you will not be able to cover. So we'll go to the next sloka.
ज्योतिरेवयः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति.
Chapter 5, verse 24. The one whose fulfillment is in oneself, the one who revels in oneself, the one whose mind is awake to oneself, that wise person alone, whose self is Brahman, gains the freedom which is Brahman. That's the translation.
Andar Sukha, Andar Aramaha, Andar Jyoti. These are the three words, beautiful words. Here we have to understand this. What is Andar Sukha? See, you have got a playground inside you. You need not have any entertainment. This understanding yourself. See, there is a lot of way of explaining this. That entertainment means the whole life is a drama. So when you observe your life, that itself is an entertainment. If you don't want that, if you want the joy within yourself, that is also possible. Antasukha. That is thoughtless mind. Not even the sukha of meditation, much more, as already explained in Taittiriya and everything. That is Andar Arama means that calmness, peace of mind. Peace of mind. And then Andar Jyoti, awakening. Awakening. That is, you will be revealed of your original nature. These three things, remember, this is the actually the stage of a jnani, three things, and also it is a motivation benefits also. So with these three words you have to be very this thing, and this things are not possible in any other pursuit. All three together is not possible. In Karma Yoga, it is definitely, it is your, means you have to have Rajasic, you have to be active. Only thing is that you are making as a offering to the Lord all your actions. So when you are more and more involved in action Karma Yoga, this you have to pacify the mind also. That's why this today's class will end with introduction to meditation, because Karma Yoga means activates your mind. That is, tamasic mind is activated to Rajasic, but too much Rajasic is not good. Means all legitimate in Isha or Bhavana, everything is fine, but at the same time it has to be pacified also. That's why Andhra Aramaga, that is, peacefulness will come with the pacification of your mind. So that is that, and the Andhra Jyoti means you are awakened. That is, from the waker's state to super waker, we say now. That kind of awakening will happen. So that is these things. This 24th sloka, then we will go to 25th sloka. We have to cover some meditation also. So
लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ऋषयक्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधायतामानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः.
Chapter 5, verse 25. Sages whose impurities have been destroyed, whose doubts have been resolved, who have self-mastery and who are happily engaged in the good of all beings, gain liberation. That's the translation.
So here, handling the impurities and cutting the doubts. So cutting the doubts has got some small new information. Purification of mind, again about the Raga Dvesha, likes and dislikes. If your likes and dislikes are based on convenience, the impurity of mind will be the highest. That you have to change. Your likes should be towards your to be done things, dharmic things, and your dislikes should be towards adharmic thing. So that way. And also not to be done things, you develop dislikes, and to be done things, you develop likes, and convert the binding desires to non-binding desires. This is purification. Then doubts. So this, what all the doubts means? When we tell about Atma, so many doubts will come. We tell Atma is eternal. Atma means what? Well, again, examining the life. You are eternal. You are all pervading. Nothing affects you. So these are all mind-boggling things. Definitely you may doubt. Can it be a state? In that state I will never be affected. I will never get affected. Can there be a state that I am the sustainer of the universe? Can it be like that? This kind of doubts you should not have. That's what. See, hope you should have, because Vedas teachings are having a sixth status of instrument of knowledge that you have to give. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord is telling, and it is the user manual of your body, mind, intellect. And you can see some people also. You can see some people without anything, they rebel. So many proofs are there. With those proofs, you should not have the doubt. Can there be a state? Yes, definitely there is a state, but I am not able to get it. How to get it? So that way, and again examine your life, day-to-day life, and then wherever the misconception is there, where your identification is there towards body, mind and everything, that you have to understand and shift towards the self, consciousness, awareness. So here again I always tell Atma Brahman is the Vedantic teaching. So immediately your mind should go to whenever Atma is told, your mind should go to awareness. Atma is nothing non-different from the non-changing awareness. Brahman is consciousness. That is the English words you will be able to, I think, absorb better. That is awareness you will never negate. Awareness with respect to your body, mind and everything, through body, mind, senses the world. So then consciousness is universal, that way. Awareness from the point of individuality, just for understanding, it is not at all a definition, but for you to understand and get the benefit, Atma is non-different from changeless awareness, Brahman is non-different from consciousness, both are one and same. Atma is from the point of individual, which is non-different from Brahman. So this two things you have to, that is purification of mind and also preventing the doubts. These two things you can pick up from this sloka. Then we will go to the next sloka.
26. 26.
कामक्रोधवियुक्तानां यतीनां यतचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्मविरोवाणम् वर्तते विदितात्मना.
Chapter 5, verse 26. For the sannyasins who are free from desire and anger, whose mind is under control, and who know the self, there is liberation, both here and in the hereafter. That's the translation.
See, Yati and Yada Chetas. Yati is Mumukshu. Mumukshu means that is who is given priority to the pursuit of self-knowledge for freedom. That's what initial sadhana chadushtayam, mumukshutvam. That is viveka, then vairagya born out of viveka, then disciplines, then desire for moksha. So those who have understood that it is there is a study called Vedanta. Through that we can get the freedom. So priority of understanding that you, if it is 10th priority, you should bring to 9th. If it is 9th, then 8th, then 7th, then 6th, then 5th, then 4th. Almost it is like first or second. Under service, you increase the priority of this desire for moksha. This drastic change in your identification of yourself will not take place because of the psychic impressions throughout this life and also life after life after life after life, identification of yourself with your body mind. That is changing, so that priority has to be increased. That is what Mukshu. Yada Chedasa means that is controlling the mind. The person who controls the mind. The controlling mind we have already discussed a lot. That is purity removal and doubt clearance and everything. They are all again we need not repeat. So this is sufficient. We will go to this next sloka. That is, I think we are going to that Eta. That's for 8 sloka.
8 and
9. 8 and 9 together.
किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलभन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेषु
Chapter 5, verse 8 and 9. The one who is together, who knows the truth, thinks, I do not do anything at all. Even while seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, walking, sleeping, breathing, talking, releasing, grasping, opening and closing the eyes, the person knowing full well that the organs are engaged in their objects. That's the translation.
You are going ahead in advanced teaching. This comes in the 8th and 9th sloka. That is profound sloka. And also it's a tongue twister. That's what you want to say. Naiva kinjit karomiti yukto manyeda tattvavid. Then starting examples. I think she can also tell one by one. Pashyan means seeing. Srinvan means hearing. Then all these things, actions are voluntary and involuntary actions. So this is what is to be understood is that the word-to-word meaning and everything is will be given in the website also. They are, I think, doing, and if necessary they can take the help of other Manasa Sveda. So these actions are done by the senses. Eyes see, ear listens or hearing, sight see and hearing listens. Naiva kinjit karomiti man yukto manyeda tattvavid. Then the list.
Pashyan Shrinvan,
Then
Sprishan Jigran.
Sprishan means touch. Jigran means grasping. Like that, unmission, nimission, it ends like that. That is opening and closing the eyes. Swami Chinmayananda has put together as a beautiful word, winking. So that is what Swami Chinmayananda's explanation will be very means interesting way, putting in very crisp but very so that you can go through his this thing on the website, whichever sloka we are covering. That will have high language also and profound meaning also, very interesting to go through also. So Swami Chinmayananda only giving an example of sleepwalker. So what is the difference between a sleepwalker and a jnani, wise person? See, even if you don't have the habit of sleepwalking, you would have heard it, or you would have come to know, or you would have read about it. During sleep, what happens? During sleep, most of the involuntary actions are happening. Only voluntary actions are not there. That is okay. Not dream, a deep sleep. Involuntary actions, you know, heartbeat, prana, and everything. But you see, the other sense organs are shut, non-functioning, and there is no ego. There is self-identification is not there during sleep. It's unmanifest. With what? Ego means we are telling about the notion, notional, I notion, individuality. It is not there. So for the sleepwalker also, the individuality will not be there. Sleepwalking, we can just see any video or anything like that. They will. There are things. They may open the door also, go out, come back, shut the door, and again sleep. In the morning, if he is asked, he will not know anything. They might have done some proper things also, but it won't be remembered at all. The difference between dream and sleepwalking is, dream is totally subjective, but sleepwalker, others can observe. For some people it may happen normally also. They might have gone for in between this midnight and everything, bathroom and everything, come back and sleep. That may not remember that I went to bathroom at about 1 o'clock. So by means the ego is not there, but all other senses are working. Here that's also the releasing is one of the word here. So these are all not at all done with ahankara. So for a wise person, this happens during waking period also. How? By uplifting oneself to super waker. That profoundness is there in this sloka. See, but my favorite sloka, Prakriti Kriyamanani, I am keeping it for final benefits. That is one of the highest benefits. That is what? this sleepwalker will do some things and other things, and then again come and sleep, of no useful to himself and to others. But the wise person's actions will be the highest benefit giving to others because of teaching. Otherwise, like the rulers like Janaka and one more Javali, in Chandogya it is
Javali
written.
Pravana.
So they are all kings and big administrators
Javali.
having gained the knowledge. They were managing administration and these things. So that's the difference between sleepwalker and the person who has got knowledge. His actions will be useful and himself useful, we may not say, but he can maintain his body mind without worry. So that is the beauty of even from Abdul Kalam to Swami Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati, till the last breathing they were useful to others. So that is the beautiful way of this understanding this sloka. List of actions that is very easy. The only thing that doership is not there. There's no doership. For wise person, there's no doership. I notion goes away, so there's no doership, no kartritva. That is the secret behind. So it happens, and when that binding of ego, when all your senses and mind is bound by ego, they reduce their potential capacity. When the ego is released, that mind is sublimed. Those things work to their best potential. Everyone has their capacity as per the composition, configuration, constitution. So that is why this Advaita philosophy is the pinnacle of personality development while living. It is spontaneous. It is effortless. No workout, no fire and everything. Just it spontaneously and effortlessly your faculties function to their optimum level, maximum level. And body is also maintained. Because here one more thing Swamiji was telling, that body identification is the most unfavorable obstacle to take care of the body. Opposite, when you superficially say, you may feel it, this is opposite. No, it is 100% truth. Body identification, body obsession, not sorry. Body identification is little more subtle. You need not go to that side. Normal body obsession is the highest obstacle to take care of the body. It is such a vulnerable thing. Obsession with your body. So that is one important thing in this also. So that is why this sloka has got a very, very profound teaching that senses work with the sense objects, and that your doership is actually is not there. Assuming the doership, you are getting entangled and converting the entertainment into a struggle. One of the 5 capsules of Swami Paramatmanandaji. Okay, 4th one I think. Yeah. Now, the one more sloka is there. That is interesting sloka. 13 I think. 5th chapter 13. We have not taken.
सर्वकर्माणि मनसः सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्.
Chapter 5, verse 13. The indweller of the physical body, the one who is self-controlled, having renounced all actions mentally, by knowledge, remains happily in the 9-gated city, the body, neither performing action nor causing others to act. That's the translation.
See, here that we locate ourselves. That is one of the things. I am sitting in the Sai Paduka Yoga Center, this revolving chair. You are sitting in front of your computer. So what? Your body is active, live body is sitting there and listening. So this kind of location normal people give before you learn this subject. You are located where your body is there. Sometimes you mind, you go and everything, you get lost and everything, that's all okay. But here, that is differentiated. The indweller, a new term is coming here. The indweller, initially you can understand, initially soul, but afterwards we are negating jiva soul. So this is the first step. Instead of that you are located on the chair, instead of that one, I am the indweller situated in the situated in the Puri, a state with 9 holes, 9 apertures. Navadware Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvanna Karya. I am not doing anything. I am not activating also. In my presence, ear is hearing. In my presence, if at all eyesight is, eye is seeing. In my presence, breathing happens. In my presence, mind is thinking. I am not the doer, I am not the activator. In my presence it happens, because activator also a kind of doer. See, nowadays the Prime Minister is there, so he is a doer, but there were once upon a time Maharajas, kings. That is not a very good example, but it is given in, I think Swami Chinmayananda is giving. Maharaja is only for the name of Maharaja, like our president. So it's a public platform, so I should not tell. So otherwise, Queen of England. So that seat is a glorious seat. By lot of punya, they have come to that seat. So that type of enjoyment you can have in the transactional reality. That is the beauty of this. I am the indweller of this 9-gated city. 9-gated, all what ones are there? That is our 2 eyes, 2 apertures, 2 holes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, extinction and procreation. So altogether, if you count, it will be 9 holes. It's a very funny way of explaining, and but this kind of things you can remember. Instead of again mind control, ragadvesha, there again by you have to forcefully implement in the mind, because that is not easy. But this is a very striking example. Mind remembers all things spontaneously. So this sloga, if you take that way, it will be very easy. Instead of that I am located in my office, I am located in my house. Because this is we are having the second round of teaching and fourth class of second round perform. It is not any basic thing, it is an advanced thing. So that level you have to attain now. In each round, when it comes to the 4th class and 5th class, you have to come to the advanced level of understanding thing. That is, understanding means what? Examining your own life. Not that I am telling and I am giving you something. It is universal property. It is a birthright for you. So you examine and find out and unearth. So that small difference will make a big change in your life. So if you don't think that you are located in where, you are the indweller. If you have not gone to the stage of Atma level, at least to this level, you are the indweller. In your presence, all things are happening in the 9-gated city. So the beautiful explanation of this one. Then we will go again now to sloka number 26, 26 and 27 together. That is the introduction to meditation, and after that next class will be meditation. And 26 and 27.
26.
यतीनां यतचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् वर्तते विदितात्मनाम्.
27, 28.
Chapter 5, verse 26. For the sannyasins who are free from desire and anger, whose mind is under control, and who know the self, there is liberation, both here and in the hereafter. That's the translation.
27, 28.
कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यान् चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणो यतेन्द्रियमनो बुद्धिः मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधः यः सदा मुक्त एव सः.
Chapter 5, verse 27 and 28. Keeping the external objects external and the eyes between the two eyebrows and closed, keeping the exhalation and inhalation that move in the nostrils equal, that is rhythmic, the contemplative person who has mastered his or her organs of action, senses, mind and intellect, for whom moksha is the ultimate end, who is free from desire, fear and anger, that person is always liberated indeed. That's the translation.
The guidance of meditation is starting in this sloka and next sloka also. And then next class will be, that is, should be the last class. So we have to cover more about meditation and some points of benefits. So here, this end of this chapter is the introduction, and also the introduction also you can say a summary of the next chapter of Dhyan Sloka. So these three slokas, 27, 28 and 29. Here, the external things you keep external. Don't internalize the external thing. We tell so many ways of interpretation this. So, internalizing the external things. Things means not only mountains and rivers and sun and other buildings. Others, words also. Others, behavior also. What is happening around you also. Whether it is corona or whether it is your job related things. Keep the external thing external. Don't internalize. Only if you have the distance, you will be able to handle. If you are one with that, you cannot handle. That is all basic things. Once you become one with the thing, you cannot handle it. If you keep it external, you will be able to handle. A lot of examples we have already given you. Boxing and within a cage of a lion, how to handle all these things. You should have a distance. So that's all. That is why teaching started with this second module also. There is 42nd sloka of the third chapter. Okay, so this is that. So preparation for meditation. Otherwise, you have to understand this. You have to keep the external things external. If it comes to mind again, use basic things of meditation like japa or visualizing your favorite deity. Basic meditation. Finally, you should become thoughtless. So that is the high level of meditation. But initially, you can, for diverting, you can have your own way of this thing, Japan. So, but by doing that, you can keep the external things external. And also, it is one more guidance is given here. That is, if you literally take, it is not the very high means way of guiding. That is, your eyes should be closed and the eyeball should be towards your middle of the eyebrows, Ajna Chakra. So that literally if you take, it is not the best guidance, but still Swami Chinmayananda says that in the erect position, this before this one, no, that is your asana is there, position is there, you have to sit erect and the spinal cord should be straight. When your spinal cord is straight and your eyesight is 45 degrees towards your Ajna, but that position will help the mind to contemplate, to become sharper, to think in a subtle manner. Intellect can operate in a subtle sense. So, in that way, you will be able to identify yourself. That is not, you will not get any new experience. Remember, you will not get a jyoti, you will not get a light. They are all, if it comes also, you have to ignore. Okay, that color coming into the image. This is only for shifting your identification from your body mind to the changeless awareness. So that is very subtle thing, because always I tell that is your higher reality. Non-changing awareness, it is your higher self, the absolute reality. So that you have to cognitively only accept. Nearest example is your sleep stage. So these are all cognitive acceptance. We always remember the higher reality, cognitive acceptance. So these kind of things, if it is to be happen, the meditative state, your intellect can operate subtle. That's all. The meditative state will not give any separate state, no light, nothing like that. That will make your intellect sharper. With that sharp intellect, you can cognitively accept the state beyond the bottom of the mind, beyond the bottom. That is what Upanishad also saying. Mind cannot understand directly, because mind itself operates in the presence of Atma. So mind, pole vault is also another example. So all these things, So that cognitive acceptance can happen in that state. That is why this sloka is a preparatory technique for meditation. And the next sloka is also telling about the glory. What is that?
851.
Okay. Next sloka also, this 29th sloka, last sloka of this chapter.
यजतपसा सर्वलोकमहेश्वरम् सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
Chapter 5, verse 29. Knowing me as the sustainer of rituals and disciplines, the Lord of all the worlds, friend of all beings, he or she gains peace, that is liberation. That's the translation.
Here your real nature is identified with Ishvara. Essentially, you are not different from God. Essentially, that Aikyam. Sarva Bodha Mahesham. This is Bhakta. See, here that is the conclusion of this chapter, the last sloka of fifth chapter. This also comes in the fifth chapter, so it is Tvam Pada. First 6 chapters are Tvam Pada. Then 7 to 12 is Tat Pada. Then Aikyam, but that is predominance. But in every, this one Shatka, all the things are there. That's why we are having first round, second round, and everything. Here also it is identification that you are non-different from Ishvara. So that thing, see, the twofold benefits are there. See, these benefits are again told in this one means. So now we are telling the benefit of fullness, completeness. You are non-different from Ishvara means what? You are the full. You are the sustainer of the universe. You are the glory. This is one benefit, higher benefit of this knowledge. Another benefit is that is unaffectedness by anything. That will come in the next the Dhyana Yoga. That is my favorite thing. That is 20th sloka to 23rd. That I am keeping for discussing next way. That will make you unaffected by anything in the world. But this one is identification. You are non-different. Identification means what? Understanding that you are non-different from God means that glory. That is revealed in this sloka. That can also happen from, that is after Sravana Manana. It is not just a meditation. That not kind of any other meditation, there's so many meditation, even breath watching meditation, they are all only purification and increase the concentration. But this is contemplation. I have given, there is so many, means nature of Atma, you can contemplate as if it is your own nature. As if means what? It is the original one, but it doesn't appear to you now. So that way, the fullness, I am the fullness, I am unaffectedness, I am the sustainer, I am the infinite. That kind of different aspects of Atma you can meditate. So that is the conclusion of this 5th chapter, 29th sloka. Then See, like in the first round of discussion also, we took up the 11th sloka of second chapter, Asosyan and Asoshatvam. Then partly we explained, and then we came back again to that sloka. Then ended it. Then we discussed the benefits. So this is also almost same. So that sloka already we covered it. So I don't know whether it is ready. That is the 19th sloka of 6th chapter. Next chapter, 19th sloka. We covered partly. Yada Deepo Nivadasto Nengade Sobamasmrda Yogino Yada Chittasya Yunjato Yogamatmana. So that sloka at that time it is example was given. When it was given means when we discussed about pranayama. Now we are in 17th class. That was I think 4th or 5th class. Bhagavad Gita. So pranayama, asana. So this is about this one meditation. These three things: pranayama, asana, meditation. So asana, pranayama, meditation was everything. So this was taken in that state, Ashtanga Yoga. But that was at that time itself I explained to you. We have to come back to that sloka. Now we are coming back to that sloka from 4th class Bhagavad Gita. Our direction and life. Now it is 17th class. We are coming back to that sloka. So the example can only take you to the near to the real thing. When you give an example of a buffalo to a cow, you can be only nearly you can compare. You cannot 100% buffalo cannot be a cow. So you can compare, it will be like that, but mostly the buffalo will be black, and you can find it in the river and this thing, no, that kind of atmosphere, partially water, partially mud. Cows will not enjoy there. So that's called water buffalo, which Swami uses very often example. So, but there are some many resemblances there, though buffaloes are bigger, the horns and everything, the structure is the cow family or something like that, and tiger and the cat. So that way we give examples. So this also example here it is given the Jyoti, Deepa. In the windless place, there will be you can take the example of a Jyoti, Deepa, in a windless atmosphere. You may think that there is no movement, still flame, but how many means 5,000 years before it is given, and the Adishankar's explanation is that there is movement inside that Jyoti. Now we are telling definitely because that gas is the oil is converted and the particles are even if you take light, it is photons. Whatever may be, there is a movement, but it appears still. So this is what example of this is actually that's what in the initial stage it is taken as a meditation, but a jnani can only understand the jnani, a wise person. So it is given an example to the mind of a wise person, to the seeker, to the committed seeker. So what is the final understanding? Jnani is not like a stone. Means maybe full of activities, but actionlessness. Whoever is seeing actionlessness in activities, or the person who has understood the truth, you will have this kind of state. Actionless state among full of activities. That's the difference between Advaita philosophy and the yoga. They are means paralyzing the mind. Samadhi, Tripudi Nasha. It is there in sleep also. But what do you get? Your sleep is not useful to others. It may be useful to you, to refresh you. It is an essential thing. But jnani is not only useful to himself, it is useful to others. Because is full is like daytime is also like a sleep because no doership. So that activity is constant activity may be there in the mind, but it is not. He is not identifying with it, and those activities will be positive. Loka Sangraha for the welfare of people. That is the beauty of. That is the one glory of Jnani is explained here because that is also depending upon the wise person. The wise person. That is one problem. Some people may be, as per their prarabdha, sitting in the cave and reveling themselves. And so many jnanis. That's why Janaka, Ashwapati, and Javali, the kings and everything. So that kind of one of the examples, living examples is Paramatmanandaji. Every class we are enjoying in Vivek Chodamani, and his Guruji was full of activities. Full of activities means 10 different types of activities, teaching, aims for seva, like that, no? Acharya and some head, protection of Hindu Dharma, full of activities. Even person who was not fully in Vedanta, even Abdul Kalam was also up to the last breath he was teaching. So these are all the people who has understood that the senses are only working, not identifying themselves with the senses. By this understanding, the senses work with optimum efficiency, which is useful to others, and that in this being useful to others, you revel in yourself and you get the ultimate satisfaction, happiness, peace, and security. Security because you are unaffected. You are unaffected with anything in the world that can maximum affect the body, mind, and you are negating the soul also. So what is left over? The Atma, consciousness, and which is not only unaffected, it is the sustainer of the universe. So that is what Atma Jnana. So it is near time, I think.
9.
Okay. So then we can end it. And next class, some of the slokas of 6th chapter will be taken along with the benefits of self-knowledge and combining dhyana also along with karma. And the ultimate thing is jnana. We will end the session with Shanti.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ